You're watching ABC7 News at 7:30 tonight. Our last guest this evening, Reverend Lillie Brock, a senior pastor at Church of the Trinity MCC in Manatee County. Her church is on a mission to better understand this phenomenon of racial inequity and to bridge that gap because, in her words, quote, it's the right thing to do for humanity. Thanks for joining us again on our show tonight, Reverend Brock.
Thank you. It's good to be back.
Reverend Brock, in the name of Christian values, a segment of society terrorizes minorities and demonizes people who they see as others. With social media giving hate speech more exposure, have there been learning lessons for you when you see some of these anti-Black and anti-Semitic videos posted?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, it gives me great pause, especially when I'm aware, more and more aware now that I'm trying to do my own work and my own study as a white person and as a Christian. Again, it makes me more and more aware that the tentacles of Christianity and much of what this country was built on has perpetrated some of this, and that white Christians in particular have just not done enough work and enough digging in our own history, our own habits, our own very closely held beliefs in Christianity. And I do think that it begins to fuel some of the things that we are seeing, that people are using their Christian attitudes, they're using scripture, they're using Christian values to tell themselves that this kind of behavior, this kind of vitriol is okay.
Pastor, what are some of the common threads that you're hearing when your church members talk about being mentally exhausted watching these protests or reading divisive social media posts? And what do you say when you're counseling them in these instances?
Well, this is a great point because absolutely people have a fatigue. So one of the things I say first is that as white people, we really don't have any room to talk about being fatigued, because what we have to really let ourselves understand is how fatigued must our Black siblings be. So I just don't think that we ought to even say that out loud, because I think it just continues to, cause our Black siblings to wonder, who do we think we are, being tired. I mean, they're exhausted from centuries of dealing with slavery and dealing with racism and dealing with all that comes with it. So mostly what I try to do is to say, I understand your fatigue. It's real. And it's our opportunity to feel what it's like to be fatigued by racism. And that our Black siblings have been doing it for a long time. So we just kind of need to get over ourselves and keep doing our work, no matter how tiring it is.
Are you finding that some of your congregants are saying they did not know how bad things were? Do you hear that?
Oh, yeah. All the time. Yeah, all the time. And I think that if we're honest, if I am, and if our congregation is honest, we have to notice the times when we fall into white grievances, where I'm not a racist. I don't like it when people call me racist. Things like the grievance of, I didn't own slaves. I don't know why this is getting put on me. The grievances of, I had to work really hard for everything I've had. So how is that different, from when Black people talk about how difficult life is for them? So I think that these are the defaults. These are the long-held responses that white people have when confronted by their own racism. And so, so we have to often grapple with trying to understand how fragile white people are, that we can't really take a lot when we're confronted with the kinds of things we actually need to be considering deeply.
Lastly, Reverend, is there a call to action for unity or perhaps a note of hope for the future of America that you'd like to share with us and our viewers tonight before we go?
Well, I always believe in hope. So I think so, because I think every challenge, every difficulty, every clash, every fight, every disagreement, all disunity, always gives us an opportunity to learn and grow and do something different. It always gives us an opportunity to see that there might be a new vision ahead that we can walk into. So I think as long as we can keep our eyes on that there is something here. And as much as we'd like to not be in this place, there is something here that's calling us forward. And so I hope that we'll step into that. We'll step into it wholly and deeply and completely and be absolutely willing to say there's more on the other side of this. And that's our hope if we'll just stick with it.
All right, Reverend Brock, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Always a pleasure to speak with you.
And to you. Thanks so much.